Hi everyone, I'm so excited that you're with us today because I'm here with Liz and JJ, the co-founders of Campus Job. Thank you guys so much for being with me.
Thank you for having us.
So before we dive in, like we were just saying, you guys just got back to New York from YC. How was it?
YCombinator was amazing. Not just the weather out in California, but the whole experience of the accelerator was unreal. We didn't know exactly what to expect, and it would have surpassed any expectation we could have possibly had.
And no longer roomies anymore.
No, not roommates anymore, unfortunately.
Though we do work in the office pretty much 7 days a week and about 18 hours a day, so we're almost roommates.
We'll get more in YC later because I loved your blog, Liz, on that and all of the videos. That's what I was saying, convinced me. I said, hey, maybe I'll go work at Campus Job. Let's go back, though, and pretend we're at demo day. What was your pitch for Campus Job? Because you guys are doing some pretty special work.
Yeah, I would say it was two things. Number one, our company is actually working, like our business actually works. We had traction by the time of demo day. We had not just awesome growth, but we also, and have still, awesome growth, but also we were actually getting students jobs. And so we had real data to show as opposed to just a vision. And then number two, we kind of ended the pitch by saying, you might not remember the first photo you ever shared or the first meal you ever ordered online, but everyone in the world remembers their first job, and we're getting everyone their first job. So I think we kind of tried to touch on both points of the fact that this is a real business that works, but it's also a business that really affects people in a memorable and important way.
And it's super easy to use.
And it's really easy to use. That too.
What you do, right, is you just go in as a student. I would go in and I'd fill out that Mad Lib style.
Yep.
And then I would just see all of the jobs that pertain to me.
Exactly. And what's great about Campus Job is when you fill out that easy profile, it's like, hi, my name is JJ, I go to Penn. Once you're seeing those jobs, you're only seeing jobs that you're qualified for, and businesses are still accepting applications for. So everything you're seeing is automatically not just relevant, but relevant to you.
And so if you see a job you like, you click apply. Sometimes there's a little bit of an essay question, but other than that, you literally just click apply. And when you click apply, your full profile gets sent through, as opposed to like a white page of a million blue links where you click a link and you get brought to a new profile where you have to fill it out over and over. We like to call it like the Common App for applying for colleges, but instead for applying for jobs.
One of the things that got me most excited about Campus Job is they always say, like, when you're so driven to tell people about something, the team's onto something. And right away, I just thought of all of my brother's friends and how I wanted to tell them about this.
I love it.
For employers, though, you guys are making this super simple. Can you go through that as well?
Yeah. So when an employer signs up for a Campus Job, they fill out a profile, which takes on average about 3 minutes because it's literally just like your website and logo and about me. And then once you fill that out, you explain exactly the job you're posting for. So whether it be a summer internship or a part-time job during school or a one-time, one-off event gig, you create the job listing. And then just like if you were creating a Facebook ad campaign or Google AdWords campaign, you choose the targeting. So you say, I only want this job to show to students who attend one of these schools or who have a car on campus or have a GPA of at least 3.0, whatever it might be. And then once you include the targeting, you press post. And then you don't pay anything. You only get charged when students actually who qualify for your job apply to your listing. So we're ensuring that we're being held accountable in order for us to make money and for you to be charged. And then once you get applicants, they show up on your portal and you'll see their profile picture. You'll see on average about 20 data points about them, from everything in their resume to their name, fun facts and hobbies, etc. And then we also automatically generate this like really beautiful job page that you can share on social networks if you like.
And then once you get the job as a student, you get a really awesome shirt that says 99 problems with a job ain't one, right?
Done your homework, yeah.
Hey, if it has to do with Jay-Z, my life dream is to play I'm a Hustler Baby in the back of the song, back of the interview. Everyone always says they hustle, and I want to put it in so bad. I just haven't had the courage yet.
Amazing.
How about right now, as you finished YC, you guys have amazing traction. I know Mattermark said you guys are the fastest growing company at YC, which is super exciting. What are a couple of things that you're looking forward to doing?
Hiring.
Hiring is a big one. That's something that both Liz and I are extremely focused on right now.
Our whole team.
Yeah, so anybody who's watching, we're hiring.
we spend like most days of each week now just interviewing candidates. So we're excited to really grow our team. We really look for hungry, passionate, and trustworthy people are the three qualities that we really care about most, and smart, obviously. And then I would say just continuing the growth and trying out new things, whether it be we're launching a new feature pretty soon that's really exciting and is going to really open up the market a little bit. And then, there's just tons of stuff that we're looking forward to doing over the next few months and the next few years. And it all just involves growing our team and focusing on the core metric, which is getting as many students jobs as possible.
Where are your numbers right now for how many jobs you guys are connecting students to?
Yeah, so we don't disclose exactly how many jobs students have gotten, but we're over 12,000 applications are being submitted every month, and a very large percentage of those, astronomical compared to any other like job type of site, job placement site, a large percentage of those students are actually getting hired. So if you come to our site and you apply for a few jobs, the chances are that you will end up getting a job.
That's awesome. I just wish I would have had this when I was in school.
Me too.
Me too. I can't tell you how many times I've been looking at the jobs that are getting posted, and I'm like, oh my God, I wish I was still in college so I could get this right now.
Yeah, and I love that you guys have such a wide range, and I think it was in the University of Wisconsin newsletter maybe, that a student was saying that she found a job that she would have never have found, and she's getting emails, 3 or 4 times a week or 3 or 4 times a day, and she's so excited. Like now she feels like she can't decide on a job versus sitting there being like, oh, well, nothing for me to do.
I don't think I've seen that one.
That's awesome.
I'm going to have to find that article. We get written up in a lot of school newspapers, so I'm going to have to find that one. That sounds great.
And something else at schools, you're giving students the opportunity to experiment more.
Mm-hmm.
And see, I think it was you, JJ, who said there's someone who was going into med school and then had a marketing role, right?
Yeah, one of my favorite stories is a student who emailed us out of the blue. He was studying pre-med. His father was a doctor. His grandfather was a doctor. He was going to be a doctor. He got a job, I think, as a campus rep through us. And just through that, he learned not only that he loved marketing, but he learned what marketing was and that it really could be a real career. And he told us it just changed his life. And now he's going to do that. So I'm really, really happy. I'm a little bit sad we have one fewer doctor, but this guy has now found a career that he's happy with. And it's a similar path to what happened with Liz, where she found out when she was in school that she wanted to do marketing, having known what it was ahead of time by having been a campus rep. And it's a really, really cool thing about our product.
I love it. And when it comes to hiring for your own team, you mentioned you're looking for people who are hungry. I know right now you guys are working crazy hours. When I saw some of the videos from Weiss, I was like, wow. I'm excited to work for them, but they're staying up way past my bedtime. I go to sleep at 8. I don't know if I can handle this 2 a.m. When you say you want someone who's hungry, what does that look like to you?
I think one of the ways in which we test is someone hungry before they even join the team is like finding out about a time that they've gone above and beyond. So above and beyond doesn't really necessarily mean like I pulled an all-nighter to get a project done. It means something like I pulled an all-nighter and then found out that half the project was on a USB that was in Albany, New York. So I called this courier service, had them pick it up, met them at the train. So that, you know what I mean? So like people who will go to any end and everyone in the world has been in a situation where something was seemingly impossible, but it wasn't actually impossible. And we want to find the people who actually connect what seems impossible to be actually possible. Is that right?
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be just work too, and it's definitely not, all-nighters don't have to play a piece in it. No. As another example, when we moved out to YC, Liz and I went out, Liz flew out just before New Year's, I flew out on New Year's, and we spent it setting up the house. It wasn't an all-nighter, but it was something we had to do, and we knew...
Setting up the house from IKEA for 8 people is a very hard thing. No one understands until you make the 6 trips to IKEA and you assemble that many beds and mattresses that you fully understand.
And then you have to take apart all the boxes too, because it's California, so you have to fold them nicely. But anyway, the point of the story is we did it because we knew, it's not only that we knew we had to, it's we wanted to, because we go above and beyond for this company. And we're looking for people who will do the same.
I think my favorite part of those videos actually was Every time, Liz, you'd be like, I'm going to IKEA. The best one was, I'm going to IKEA. This is my first time. I think this should be the only time I have to go. Right when you said that, I was like, oh no.
Yeah, I was foolish.
And it's so overwhelming in there. It's killer.
It's overwhelming, but the French fries and the macaroni and cheese make up for it.
They helped.
Pretty solid cafeteria.
We got great survey responses too. She would go around and just ask people random questions to see what they thought.
Yeah, so there was like really long lines. So while waiting on the line, I would like ask the person next to me to hold my spot, and then I would go around the lines at IKEA and ask college students random questions. You got to use every opportunity you can to talk to users.
No, it's a great idea. So let's go to those times in the house. You guys worked and lived in the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was a typical day like when you were at the accelerator?
So just to like be clear about the accelerator aspect of it. So unlike other accelerators like Techstars, for example, YCombinator doesn't have you work out of the YC office or anything like that. They're purely an investment vehicle that has really smart partners that will take office hours whenever you want. But really, it's just like meeting with real investors. I mean, we raised a seed round back in July, and if I ever want to meet with one of our investors, I email them and then go and meet with them. So it's similar to that. And then they host dinners every week, every Tuesday night with really amazing speakers. So it's just to put that clarification out there, because a lot of people don't understand that Y Combinator is not like a place where you go and they set you up in a house and all of that. So once we found the house, we all moved in. Average day, it's different timing for everyone. Usually, at least for me, I'd wake up around 8:30, the whole team would kind of trickle out and start working, making their chia seed oatmeal and all of that. 10 a.m. every single morning, 7 days a week, we would have our daily stand-up, which was everyone goes around for 30 seconds and just says overall what they plan on doing that day. And then after the daily stand-up, we would all go back to work, I guess. And
yeah, I mean, everybody's schedule depended on the day. So, and where people were working depended too. So we did have the living room was set up as an office, which was great. You might have seen from the video or pictures. But we had this beautiful backyard with a hanging tent cocoon thing from a tree that I would often take meetings in. And I'd be on Skype, like for example, we could be doing this. If we were there, I'd be in the cocoon and you'd be like, why is the background behind you turning? That's really weird. We'd work outside on the porch. It just depends.
We definitely took advantage of being in California, and a lot of the team members tried to meet with experts in whatever their field was, because there's a lot more experts in tech out in San Francisco than there are in New York. So whether it was meeting with industry experts or just meeting with people who worked in marketing, and our marketing team, like Nikki on our marketing, she runs all student experience, and she wanted to meet with the person who embodies what it means to be a brand ambassador, which is Guy Kawasaki. And so she just reached out to him and met with him. And so I think we all tried to embody, or not embody, but really take advantage of California.
And when you were in the house, one of the things that you can really get I love the videos if you haven't noticed yet, but it's so great to see a team that works so well together that it doesn't look like they're working. You guys looked like you were having an amazing time.
And we honestly not just have an amazing time, and I swear we're not just saying this, but like we genuinely didn't feel a lot of the time like we were working when we were. I mean, for example, we have this is a silly example, but we have this thing called the College Box, which is a referral program that we run, and we stuff about 150 boxes with tens of thousands of dollars worth of product. And so once a month, and it all goes out to college students. And so once a month, we all get not drunk, tipsy on red wine. By the way, it's like $2 chuck
not even.
Yeah, like $2 red wine from Trader Joe's, and we just stuff boxes. And we always wake up the next morning being like, "That was such a fun day." So it sounds silly, but we actually do have a really good time. We would all be friends had it not been for this company anyway. If we had found each other, so that really makes it important.
And then when you go into transitioning to life out of the house. Like now you're back in your apartment, it's way less fun. How are you going to make sure you keep that culture going?
Yeah.
So because we were just talking about this yesterday.
Yeah.
One of the great things, first, this may sound like obvious to say, it's the same team. And not only is it the same team, we now have yes, we're going to be growing now, but we have a core team of people who were with us in the house, and they're going to be the ones, not just us, we're all going to be the ones perpetuating that culture as we continue in an office. It's just to me, the only difference is that you can go when you want to because you don't live in the same place as where you work. But at the end of the day, it's the same team doing the same tasks and we're working on the same company and the same product. We're just somewhere else.
And while it's like maybe a little more forced, we are starting to create some really fun traditions that will ensure, whether it be like quarterly offsites, or so one of our investors gave us his home for a weekend in the Hamptons this summer, so we can all kind of do a 4-day adventures to the Hamptons, or whether it be, you know, fun celebrations for birthdays. We're going to surprise someone soon for his birthday. Hopefully he doesn't watch this before then. So, you know, we're going to try to keep the fun, random moments of kind of silliness going.
So if you each had to choose one fun, random, silly moment, what would it be so far?
Oh,
Ooh,
man.
that's a good one. I would say probably the music video for me in Los Altos. There was one night where, so basically we had these students from Chapman University, which I think is where your brother goes, and we hired them on campusjob.com, and they came to Los Altos. We flew them to Los Altos, and they made a whole video about Campus Job at our house. And they left at like 9 p.m. on a Sunday night because they had to go back to school. And we had to return they rented a ton of camera equipment and lighting equipment. And so we had to return it the next morning. So after they left at 9, I got back from the airport, dropping them off around 10. And I had this like kind of funny idea that we should make another video, because what else do you have like thousands of dollars worth of camera equipment and lighting? So we decided to turn the words from a Taylor Swift song into a song about YCombinator and Campus Job. And we're complete fools. Again, a little bit tipsy. Red wine comes into play a lot on our team. And it was a lot of fun for me. What about you?
I think for me it would have to be when I came back to the house one day. I don't remember where I was. And I saw, it must have been 12 to 15 boxes of Sour Patch Kids.
Okay. I saw that too.
That arrived because I don't know if you saw this video, but we did a partnership with Sour Patch Kids for Single Awareness Day, where Liz made everyone aware of Single Awareness Day. And we got feedback from students, and for everyone who sent us feedback, we sent them a pack of Sour Patch Kids. We had a lot of Sour Patch Kids.
We sent thousands of bags of Sour Patch Kids throughout the country. It was pretty weird, and USPS was not very happy. But
right, so like no exaggeration to say that entire wall behind you was filled with Sour Patch Kids, which was a sight to see.
That's my kind of job.
Yeah.
Just more and more I'm thinking, I'm going to have to apply for one of these. When it comes to that culture, both with your team and with your users, I know it's really important to both of you to have a great relationship with your customers, and I really admire that, especially because when someone gets their first job, it's a really big deal. They should be congratulated for it. What are some ways that you guys are always chatting with your users?
Yeah, so a few examples. One is we actually recently hired a woman named Elise, who is actually going to be, or she is now, our internal career consultant, where she randomly reaches out to students on the site, only like viewable students on the site who have a resume that they've opted into being shown to employers. And if she sees that your resume needs a little bit of work, or if she sees that you might have an interest in like her career path, she actually reaches out to you and says, hey, I'd love to get on the phone for 20 minutes and just talk to you and give you any advice I can, or talk through your career aspirations. Obviously, we would never charge a student for that, but that's one example of a way in which we just try to do random acts of kindness for our users. Other examples are like, if we ever do, this is a silly example, but if there's ever a problem on our site, whether it be like there was a small bug or for some reason your password wasn't working, even if it's not our fault, if you come to us and complain and you're upset about it, we'll offer you a free resume consultation by a team of expert resume consultants, which are really a bunch of the people on our team. If we see that your resume, you're clearly, maybe you want to go into consulting, JJ will probably review your resume. Google, since I work there, I'll review your resume for tech, etc. So we're excited.
Yeah, I think it goes even beyond that, because even hiring Elise came out of the fact that anytime, it's not just when a student contacts us, it's even when, let's say there's some issue that I noticed just in general, or we're just looking at a student's profile for any reason, we'll check their resume and see how it looks. We'll check their profile and see if there's anything that could be improved. And if they can, we'll email them, just out of the blue. And that really helps a lot, because it's not just that it makes them happy. Like, genuinely, these students hopefully are better off for it.
And then we also, obviously through social media, we talk to our users. We send them, as you mentioned, shirts that say 99 pounds, but a job ain't one. We do all sorts of like little, outreach as much as we can. We so
often when we get asked, we go talk to schools as well.
I think it's so important too, because a lot of times there's really no guidance in this area, I tried numerous times to reach out to my career development center, and they're just like, sorry, we don't have time. I was like, thank you, this is super helpful. Like, really appreciate it. And one of the ways you guys did that, which is a small ways, you notice that a lot of the pictures on the site were not professional pictures. They were mirror selfies, which is a disaster. Like, you cannot have a mirror selfie for your resume. And you guys actually went and set up places for kids to get their pictures done.
Do you want to remember?
Yeah, so I forget the exact day it came about. I think there was one picture in particular that Liz had found randomly when actually show it during a demo, and was like, "Oh my god, we have to fix this."
It was during
immediately.
It was during like a VC pitch for our seed round in August, or no, in September, or it was during some kind of a demo. Maybe it was like during a sales demo. But anyway,
it was some important demo.
And I'm like going through the site to show how amazing our students are, and there's a man standing next to a naked woman in Mardi Gras. And I was like, I came back and I was like, we need to do something fast.
The best part is we used some software that helps zoom in on the face. And so it zoomed in on the lady's face. We're like, that's weird. Why is there a lady named Robbie? Like, not Robbie, whatever. Some clearly a guy's name. And we looked at the full picture. We're like, oh my God. So
we decided we should go to different colleges, colleges that would accept us coming, because not all schools realize that their career service office might not be getting everyone a job. Some schools truly believe that they are helping every single student. It's pretty fascinating. And so whenever we're accepted, we come to that school and we actually hire a professional photographer, who, by the way, is a college student that we hire on campus job who's studying photography. And they usually will book some kind of a room in the library, and they'll take photographs, professional headshots of students, and then send them to the students so that students have them for their campus job account, LinkedIn account, whatever it might be. So we're actually doing that today at Columbia University, and the Facebook event alone has over 800 RSVPs attending. So we hired a few photographers for today's event.
That's great. So now that you guys have this amazing scale, you have an amazing team, and it hasn't even been a year. So when you look, you better be having a huge celebration in July, because you guys deserve it. When it comes to scaling, you guys have such great numbers right now. How are you going to maintain that and make sure that you're not growing too fast so you can have sustainable growth?
It's a great question. I would say, number one, we're a marketplace, so we can have insane growth as long as it's insane growth on both sides of the marketplace. So to that end, we actually saw really fast growth on the student side. And unfortunately, because the network effect happens on the student side, if a student gets a job, they're going to tell all their friends around them. They go to a frat party, they tell their friends. That's not the case with employers. It's not as much of a network effect because HR people don't all hang out at frat parties every night, unfortunately. And so I wish they did. And so one side of the marketplace is growing infinitely quicker than the other. So that's part of the reason why, we're hiring a bunch of salespeople now to help us with outreach to employers. I'd say in terms of keeping growth consistent, obviously there might be some seasonality to the business in that students in June and July might not be looking for a summer internship because that's kind of over, and they might not be looking for their first part-time job because they're busy with their summer internship. But we have lots of ideas to keep our users engaged, and we are coming out with really interesting content over the summer called Office Hours. So we already launched Office Hours where over the summer we'll be doing it once a week. We've been doing it once a month, where we actually host a panel of amazing speakers to talk about a specific subject. So the first one was Women in Business, where we had senior executives from L'Oreal, Christie's, Facebook, a venture capitalist. The next event is in a week, and that's actually on JJ's birthday, and that's themed to be finance. And so that we have someone from Bain Capital, Goldman Sachs, etc. So we're excited about keeping our users engaged and always staying top of mind for them.
When it comes to the best memory from the last 7 months, it doesn't have to be a super fun memory, I wish it was, but what's one memory about your team having a problem and having that hunger to push through no matter what, that really demonstrated, what we're doing? Even the days that you thought like, oh my God, what if this doesn't work? You were like, no, we're going to keep going.
I think one of the best ones I can think of is actually really, really early on at YC. We got out there, so Liz and I got out there by January 1st. The rest of the team arrived 4 days later. We had our first YC dinner, and we had been thinking up till then about changing our pricing model. Before that, we had done you unlock a listing, and then we realized that it would be better to do it the current model, which is pay per qualified applicant. So we were planning when to do it. We spoke to the YC partners, and this is one of the great things about YC and how they push you. They're not doing the work for you, but we told them about it. They're like, great, do it now. Like, what? And they said, no, you should just do it right now. You better have it by next week. And we knew we had to, and we got the whole team together to push through, and it was really a full team effort. The whole engineering team heads down for 5 days straight to completely revamp the product, talking with marketing about how best to communicate this to students if relevant, and what we can do to make sure it's a better experience for students with the sales team. And it was really important to talk about how we communicate this to businesses. Once the product was almost ready, we put it up and had everyone test it like crazy for 2 days, and then we launched it. From beginning to end, it was just about a week. And that's totally crazy for completely redoing the site.
It was literally revamping our entire site.
It was completely insane. And that was a full team effort, and I think that's one of my favorite memories. It just was an incredible thing.
I agree.
That's yours too, Liz.
I think that's a good one. I don't know. Solving a problem, I think that's either that or launching the product in the first place back in September. I would say one of those two. But we were doing a lot of hustle in the very early days when it was just me and JJ, and then Nikki joined on pretty early as well. It's hard to start a marketplace. Once you get both sides, it works, and then it's a matter of maintaining consistent growth. But at the very beginning, it's extremely hard, and we did growth hacks beyond belief to try to grow, and luckily most of them worked out, and that's why we're in the position now where we're at the point of just trying to grow even faster.
What are some things you guys did in the early days to accelerate that growth? Because it seems like a lot of it has been word of mouth, of people just being excited about the campus job.
Yeah, I would say the easiest one to think about in terms of like a growth hack would be, well, other than kind of not stalking, that's a bad word, but like running around Washington Square Park in the summer begging students to sign up for campus job. But when we saw that there was traction on one specific college campus, we would literally call every employer possible and ask them to go and post a job there. And then we would hire students at that school to go around their campus and literally start like going up to every on-campus small business and ask them to post jobs. So we would really kind of not fabricate, but like really be hands-on with the growth of one specific location to make sure that both sides of the marketplace there were growing. I would say that's probably the best one.
And now you guys aren't really having to do that anymore, right?
We don't really have to massage the marketplace that granularly, but we definitely still do a little bit of it in terms of, as one example, we try to match supply and demand. So if we see a lot of students are really looking for summer internships, we will specifically focus on have our sales team focus on getting summer internships on the site.
Got it. What have you guys learned about yourself individually as founders?
For me, it's that I always thought like I just didn't know what I was doing and maybe other people did and I was good at faking it. But then I learned through this process that no one knows what they're doing ever. I would say that's my biggest, like,
That's what I was going to say.
Honestly, like.
That would be mine too. It's okay.
It's fascinating. I mean, I literally will go to an investor and I'll be like, I don't know what to do in this crazy situation because I've never been in this situation. What do you think I do? And we'll sit together and brainstorm and come up with something. But at the end of the conversation, he or she will be like, I had no idea what the answer was, by the way. So it's pretty cool. You know, you talk to experts in fields and everyone's just using their previous experience to give their best guess.
Ooh, this is tough. I think for me, I've learned, this is going to sound, I don't know if it's going to sound silly or what, but I think I've really learned how to work hard. Like, Liz and I both worked hard all of our lives to get to where we are. And my previous job too, McKinsey, was obviously crazy difficult, but there's nothing like building a company from the ground up and building a marketplace where it just teaches you, this is going to sound as cliche as possible, but the value of hard work, honestly. Like, building a marketplace is putting your head to the ground and doing what you need to do to get people on your platform and get it active. And in my case, like, build the thing. And we just put our heads down. We just put our heads down and did it, and it came together. And I think that's what was really cool. It's like really, really seeing that and feeling that in a way that I guess in the rest of my life, even doing school projects, for example, it doesn't come together in the way that this does, where we're also helping people. So whatever, every line of code I write, if I have to stamp a little bit later, someone's getting helped by that. And that's really cool. And it's very motivating.
When you think of, I love that you said that hard work pays off, because right now it's totally paying off for you. And in 5 years, when you look back at this success, you're going to think, oh my God, we were excited about that. Like, look where we are now. Let's say it's 5 years from now, we're sitting, it's sunny though, so you're not going to be in cold New York. We're in Cabo San Lucas because we're on a vacation. We're sitting and we're chatting, and you're telling me about this amazing growth. What do you want Campus Job to be in 5 years?
We will be the place that any college student goes to get any type of part-time job, summer internship, full-time job, some kind of connection to businesses, any type of work experience really, but also advice. How do I write a resume? What questions am I going to be asked for my interview, et cetera. We really want to be the one-stop shop for all things career advice and actually helping students take action on getting that job. So I think it's a pretty realistic goal because there's really no one doing that right now. And hopefully we could bring this to other countries, but for now we're focused on the US, today at least.
Is that the same for you, JJ?
Yeah, I would say exactly the same.
Well, I think my favorite part about that, and I think it's the perfect way to end it, because instead of saying you hope to be, you said you will. And I love that. So thank you guys so much for being with me today. How can everyone stay up to date with what you're doing and also sign up?
Yeah, so you can sign up at campusjob.com, campusjob.com, and you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, all those guys at the Campus Job, just the Campus Job. So make sure to follow us. Our social media manager will love it.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Take care.